Hello, my name is Phil Adnett. I'm a senior content editor here at the Chartered Institute of Export and International Trade. We're here today to talk about party conference season, what's happened and what to expect next on business and trade from all three major political parties. Joining us today, we have Grace Thompson and Oliver Greensmith. Welcome to you both.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. We've just got back from all the conferences now. I'd say we're fresh from conferences, but I think we're very much not fresh anymore. But yes, the Liverpool conference for the Labour conference was 2 weeks ago. And essentially, the message was about delivery. So obviously we've had a year, just over a year now, of a Labour government. And the first year, they were very much trying to work out what their policies would be, engaging with businesses on what should be in the new trade strategy, for example, and industrial strategy, what should be the 8 priority growth driving sectors, and what should support look like in the new small business plan. Then there was the reshuffle, and obviously that was quite soon before the Labour Party conference. And the message behind that reshuffle was around getting in a group of ministers who would essentially drive the delivery of the vision which had been created in the first year of government. So at the party conference, most of the message was around delivery. And we had Sir Chris Bryant, who's the new trade minister, at one of our events with the This Is Purpose team. And his message was around utilising trade deals effectively, but also striking new trade deals. So he was talking a lot about the Gulf Cooperation Council and also Mercosur. He was saying that they've not started any formal conversations yet with that grouping of countries in South America, but that there will be a formal process hopefully soon.
What do we hear specifically on skills and education from Liverpool?
Yeah, this was a really interesting area, I think, for us, because the Labour Party is now moving away from this kind of very traditional model of having to just go one route, the university route. And so we're now looking at a situation where they're encouraging more people to take part in apprenticeships. This is obviously something that we care a lot about at the Chartered Institute because our subsidiary runs a number of apprenticeships to help people start off their careers in international trade or to upskill within the careers that they're already taking part in. And I think that the introduction of new technical colleges is particularly interesting. Those are going to be around the country and are going to help drive growth. Very much now we're looking at cluster models where businesses and universities and these new technical colleges will be working together in order to drive forward the 8 growth driving sectors of the industrial strategy. So we're very much looking forward to engage in how we can support in getting these trade education skills into local areas and to promoting international trade careers as a way of driving growth in communities.
And so, Ollie, we're going to turn to you next. So obviously we had the Conservatives had their conference over in Manchester. What are the key learnings on business and trade we've heard from them?
I think with the Conservatives, really what they were trying to articulate is we need to try and get the filtered down benefits of these free trade agreements to SMEs in a local way that they can feel tangibly and also something that they can access more readily. Some of the problems in the past have been that businesses have limited resources, particularly SMEs, and therefore that means that it's difficult to find the right information and the right resources to actually be able to capitalise on them in the first place.
Yeah, actually, Oliver, I think that was a particularly interesting thing that came out of our business dinner at the Conservative Party conference was still this issue around signposting for SMEs. And I think that why that's interesting is that the government actually has put in place a business growth service, business.gov.uk, where there is loads of information now, very impressive service actually, but the problem is that some small businesses still aren't able to access that, they don't necessarily know about it, and so I agree with you, it's completely right. How do we help businesses in those regions to understand where the signposting information is?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Grace. It's an issue of awareness, but also there's a horizon scanning issue, which has often been mentioned by SMEs, which is these new regulatory introductions, whether it's coming from the EU or from the UK government. Businesses need to be fleet-footed in able to respond to them, but in the first place, they need to know they're coming.
I finally got to Lib Dems. They've just wrapped up their party conference. What were sort of their main messages on business and trade? What's their pitch to the public at the moment?
Yeah, so I think it was mainly around scaling up SMEs There was a recognition that we've got the talent in this country to succeed, but it's about growing these small and medium-sized businesses so that they can increase their exporting activities. And really, I suppose one of the things that the Chartered Institute has been doing so frequently is looking at what are the hurdles to SMEs acquiring further export potential overseas. And what we hear a lot from our members is access to finance is the main barrier. There are regulatory issues, but this is consistently what we hear from both our members and wider industry.
Yeah, I completely agree on that point as well. And I think it was interesting, the first night that we went to Lib Dem conference, Nick Clegg was speaking, so the former leader of the Liberal Democrats, and it was the first party conference that he'd been back to since he was leader. And he was talking about this brain drain that Oliver mentioned to the US particularly, and the fact that they seem to embrace risk more than we maybe do in the UK. And there's a bit of a problem in terms of us losing some really good businesses to the US on that. So there were discussions that we had around how do we help businesses to feel supported in the UK, not just with access to finance, but with kind of more moral support, actually, for encouraging people to start and grow their businesses internationally. And I think the second point that Nick Clegg raised, which was really interesting, was around the fragmentation of the internet and the advent, I shouldn't really say the advent of AI, the progression of AI. Because that's going to make some interoperability of digital systems much more difficult when you see these fragmentation of internet around different blocks. So, for example, China having some very different systems to the rest of the world. So I think the challenge now for organisations such as ourselves and other trade associations is looking at how do we engage well with other countries and the government to foster these interoperable systems and make sure that we stay interconnected despite geopolitical shifts changing around the world.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Ollie, for sharing your insights there. If people want to send you some thoughts of their own, where's best to get in touch with you both?
Yeah, we're always really keen to hear from members. We want to know what's working, what's not working, where are there challenges or opportunities. And we regularly go around the country actually speaking to members about these issues. So if members want to get in touch with us, they can contact us at our email address, which is publicaffairs@export.org.uk, and we can set up a meeting to have a chat.